Hello everybody and welcome to the final part of my Let's Play of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. So yeah, this is part 36, and in the last video I finally completed the last of all of the 6 trial maps in the game. That includes Hillside Battle, Lonely Isle, Strange Turn, Desperation, Escape, and Trapped. And it turns out these 3 were actually pretty easy. I actually did these blind. Only thing I really knew is that they looked like this, but I had no idea which units were gonna be in there, how many I would get to bring, and anything. But it turns out they were pretty easy, so that's good. But what I wanted to do for this part is I kind of just wanted to show off some of the other things in this game. Just some of the, like, mostly the stuff on, like, the extras menu because, well, there isn't really anything else to see. Like, if I click on the epilogue, you're just gonna see the same ending cutscene again. So, yeah, it's useless to do that. Alright, let me just press restart real quick. There we go. But, yeah, if we go to the extras, we can see some things. And because I used that cheat code that unlocked all the trial maps, um, what it really did is that it unlocked everything in the extras menu. So that includes all of the illustrations and things, even for the games that I wouldn't normally have. Now, unfortunately, because this is the Western version, they do not include Fire Emblem, the Blazing, or the Binding Blade, rather, aka Fire Emblem 6. Normally that would be uh, in here, but unfortunately, because this is the Western version, it only has Fire Emblem 7 and Fire Emblem 8. But yeah, this stuff is pretty cool. Here it just basically includes some portraits of the characters. And of course, right now they are very low res because it's a GameCube game. They're natively shown in 480i, but even with upscales, like, or setting the in-game resolution to like 144p like I have it right now, you're not going to see any extra detail because the textures are, well, they're low res textures. I don't exactly remember how many pixels are in each texture, so I actually don't know the resolution for the textures. I could actually figure it out real fast if I wanted to. I do have a program called GC Rebuilder, which allows me to extract the files from GameCube games, and then I could use another tool that I have called Brawlbox to examine the textures, and it could tell me the resolution in there. I could even use that to replace the textures in the game if I wanted, but that takes a long time to do. But yeah, basically these are pretty low res. You can sort of see a higher resolution version that's monochrome that shows off a little bit, like, Lake Mia in the background, but you can only see a little bit of her. But of course, this official artwork is, well, official artwork, and thus it actually exists outside of the game as well. You can actually find full resolution pictures of these online. At least I believe you can. But yeah, these are just cool. You can just see the textures, like, yeah, some of them I actually really like. One thing that was surprising to me is that Volk here has a pipe in this artwork, and I never have noticed that before until when I was looking him up in the wiki once, or not the wiki. It was like a Fire Emblem like art book thing that also included like bios for each character. It tells you like how old they are. I forget exactly how old Volk was supposed to be, but it says his hobby is smoking. And then I looked at his artwork and I realized that, yeah, he has a pipe. It's kind of hard for me to notice this right now because it's low res, but yeah, he apparently smokes a pipe a lot. You just never really see that in game. But yeah, another thing I thought was kind of funny was Jill. Look at her here. In the game, she's always like very stern and serious. She looks like she doesn't want anyone to see her vulnerable. But here, she looks super jovial and happy. I mean, I guess the artwork is depicting her caring for her wyvern, who she cares for dearly. But yeah, in her game portrait, where she's like, her dialogue portrait, super stern and serious. So I always thought this was kind of funny to see. But yeah, speaking of that art book though, it actually included like most of the characters' ages, if not all of them, and at least how they were designed to be. And I found out how old some of the characters were. I found the ages for all of the characters, but I haven't committed them all to memory. I remember for sure Ike was 17 and Mist was 15. So yeah, and I used to think that Mist and Rolf were the same age, but as it turns out, Rolf was supposed to be 13, I believe, either 12 or 13. I forget exactly how old, and Mist was 15. So Mist is actually the older one. Um, and then Mist was talking about how she wanted to be around someone her own age when she was talking about Jill. But it turns out Jill is also 17, so she's the same age as Ike. Uh, and Alencia, where is she? Oh, she's probably at the bottom. Yeah, there she is. Um, Alencia is actually 18, so she's a year older than Ike. And as it turns out, Joffrey and where is she? Oh, Lucia. Okay, I thought they were twins, but no. As it turns out, one of them is older. I forget which one's older. I think Lucia is older by 1 year, and they're both older than Alencia by 2 years. I think. Like, I think Lucia was supposed to be 21. Joffrey was supposed to be 20, and Alencia was 18. And then I think Bastion was 25. So, yeah, that was kind of interesting to see. Uh, who else? Yeah, they showed some of the ages for the others. Like I think Marcia was either 17 or 18. Oscar was like 24 or something like that. And Boyd was like I forget exactly all the ages. But yeah, it was kind of cool seeing the ages, and it included like some of their favorite hobbies. Like for Ike, it said sleeping, and I think eating as well. Um, But yeah, of course, I'm not talking about that. I'm trying to show off the features in this game, not extra things outside of the game. But yeah, here apparently, if you use your Game Boy Advance link cable, you can see the portraits for some of these other characters, and this is really cool. You can see Lynn here, Sane, and Kent. Man, these are the Christmas Knights, as they call them. I guess I never really thought about it, but Oscar and Kieran would be the Christmas Knights for this one. And that's just like the little joke term that I've heard being used in some Fire Emblem communities. They refer to Cavaliers that you usually get in the early game. Typically, you get them together, but this time Kieran and Oscar were separate. But the reason they're called the Christmas Knights is because they're always in, like, one is always red and the other one's always green. So, yeah, like Oscar is green and Kieran's red. And as you see here, like Sane and Ket are green and red. And it doesn't end there. Not Seth. Where is he? Oh wow, there's not that many in here. Thought there would be more. But there are some units here. I forgot what their names were. But yeah, there were two Cavaliers and Sacred Stones that were also red and green. Apparently, it's just a thing that has been around since the first Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem, uh, what was it called? Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, I think it's called. It's the first one, and they had the characters Cain and Abel as the Cavaliers, and yeah, Cain was red and Abel was green. So yeah, it's just kind of a trope that they've had. But I find it interesting that I have unlocked all of these guys for Fire Emblem, Blazing Blade, even though it's just called Fire Emblem. But you only get like you only get oh my god, you only get 11. You're not even a full screen, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, it's cool to see some of the artworks for these. There's Florina, Will with one L for some reason. Urk. I always thought Urk was sort of like a prototype Soren. You know, he's a mage. He's supposed to be super gifted, but he's kind of like, sticks to himself. He's a little less antisocial than Soren. But yeah, I always thought of him as the prototype Soren. Who's Wrath? Oh yeah, that's Wrath. I remember him now. But yeah, yeah, Matthew. There we go. It's actually cool seeing some of these characters like in this. Never actually seen them in this game before. Of course, I've seen them in their actual game, but they don't have artwork that you could see like this in their game. Yeah, Lone, Rebecca, Bartra, Hector. Everyone loves Hector. He's a fan favorite. Eliwood and Lyn suck as units. They are so weak. Eliwood's a little bit more viable than Lyn, but Lyn, she has super low defense and super low attack power. The only thing she has is a high crit rate and a high speed. Like so she's basically a sword master, but she dies super easily. She not only has low defense but low HP as well. And with her low attack power, it doesn't matter if she has a high crit. Even if she gets a crit, it's not even going to be that powerful. Eliwood is just weak. He does a bit more damage than Lyn consistently, but he still doesn't do all that much damage. Hector, on the other hand, is basically an armor knight that can move 7 spaces, and he could use axes and swords when he gets promoted. He's really, really good. And that's another thing. He uses axes from the start, where Eliwood and Lyn you locked using swords at first. Although I think Eliwood you will be able to use lances when he promotes, which is a lot better, but he's still not that strong. Guy, oh yeah, Guy. Oswin. Yeah, this is cool seeing like some of these units. Raven, Canis, yeah. This guy was broken because he was the dark mage in that game, Fire Emblem 7. And in Fire Emblem 7, there's a tome called Luna. In this game, Luna is the skill that the Black Knight uses to treat your defense as if it was reduced by half. But Luna used to be a tome in the Game Boy games, or the Game Boy Advance games. And what it would do is that it would treat enemies' resistance as if it was zero. Now, the Lunatome itself, I believe, had 0 might, so it would just do damage equal to however high the magic stat was. But you could get like over 25 magic with Canis if you leveled him up enough, which means that he would do 25 damage to all the enemies with the Lunatome, and it was extremely broken against the final boss because yeah, you literally just bypass his defenses. It's really funny, but yeah, I love Kanos just for that. Ninian, Isadora, Geit. Yeah, see, like, look how many characters we get to see. Heath, yeah. Heck, you even get Hawkeye. Oh, yeah, that's right, you could use Hawkeye in that game. Pent. Yeah, these guys are. What the? Jafar. Oh! Yeah, Jafar. Yeah, I remember Jafar now. For a second, I was thinking it was Janna, and I was like, what the heck? But yeah, I remember Jafar. Yeah, he's just. Yeah, he's cool. Athos. But yeah, there's lots of cool characters. You can't even play as Merlinus. What the heck? Oh well, that's cool that you could see his portrait. Yeah, these are enemies. Um, yeah, it's actually kind of funny. You can see portraits for enemies. Like none of these guys. Yeah, like, and she's not an enemy, Layla, but she's a non-playable character. Same thing with Zephiel and Guinevere. I mean, they're major characters to the plot, uh, but they're not playable. Like they didn't show the portraits for like Ashnard and Bertram in here. Hmm. Maybe if they did, they would have included a bit more portraits because then they would have had more space. But yeah, interesting that the art style here is so drastically different. You see, like, I mean, I guess Path of Radiance has its own art style too, but I feel like that's more similar to, yeah, like these guys, they don't feel like their art style is that drastically different. But here, there's like a lot more heavy shadows and stuff. The art style is like way different. The colors feel more washed out and things like that. But I guess it kind of fits in with the dark, grim world of Fire Emblem, the Sacred Stones. Um, but yeah, yeah, these are cool characters too. I like all of these characters. Oh, let's cycle back over. Yeah, that's right. Mur was cool. And when Ewan, yeah, he was alright, I guess. Soleil was good though. Lara Shell, she's basically like Mist, except she couldn't use swords. Although if she promoted, she would be able to use tomes, which is nice. You get to choose whether she uses light or anima magic. But she was alright, I guess. Tethys, she's a dancer, so that automatically made her good. But unlike Rayson, she was only able to dance once for one person, and she didn't move that many spaces. Like Rayson was able to move 8 spaces and sing for 4 people at a time. Tethys, while it's still useful to have her sing for just one person, it wasn't as useful as Rayson. Amelia, she was alright. Ephraim was like freaking amazing. He's like Ike, where like I said, I think he's probably a little bit better than Ike because he starts off being pretty good, whereas Ike starts off being kind of weak. He's a little bit like Roy in that sense. Uh, but Ephraim, like he started off being pretty strong, and then he just gets really strong. Also, he has the same voice actor in English in Fire Emblem Heroes. But yeah, anyway, that's the artworks. I think that's cool enough. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and see some other things. There's also the sound room. You can listen to all the soundtrack in the game. Um, so yeah, we can see some of these. Side battle, father's back. Yeah, so this is really cool. You just unlock these as you hear them in the game. So pretty much just beat the game and you'll unlock all of the songs. But you could also just view the art. I believe, yeah, moving the control stick left and right will allow you to look upon the art. And it's actually really good looking, actually. I really like it. And there's some castle. Ooh, Benyon looks really nice. Kind of reminds me of Italy. Uh, this is cool. That's cool. That's a cool one too. There's like the end game. Oh yeah, they only show you a portion of the artwork for this one. Of course, if you remember the credit sequence, the camera eventually pans up so you can see the top portion of this art piece, but unfortunately you cannot do that here. You have to just stick with the bottom part. Yeah, these are really well drawn art pieces for the game. Oh yeah, and this one you don't even see in the game. You see it in the opening cinematic, but you don't ever see it in game. But it's Ashnard uh, committing his assault, or beginning his assault, or on the war anyway. I think they're still in Dain at this point. So he's in Dain Keep. This is the only time you'll see Ashnard in Dain Keep. And then he's leading his army to go to war against Crimea. And yeah, we already know what that is. Then you know what that is. This is also just in the opening cinematic of the game, but we all know that that's the Goddess Tower in Benyon. And then this was cool too. Yeah, these were really nice. Also, I think it's interesting how you could see a soldier wielding a sword. There is no class like that in this game. There are sword masters that use swords, but no armor-wearing soldiers like this that use swords. They would typically use a lance. But yeah, and then there's a general in the background who's using an axe, which is also interesting. Whilst in the GBA games, generals were able to use swords, lances, and axes. In this game, they were only able to use swords and lances. I should actually say lances and swords because they unlock swords as they promote. But yeah, and they were not able to use axes. So this is kind of interesting. These are technically classes that shouldn't exist. But yeah, that's kind of a cool thing too. The theater is exactly what you would expect. Yeah, it's just seeing the cutscenes again. Like we could watch this one. It's a really short one. But yeah, it just shows the cutscene and then yeah, that's it. It takes you back to the menu. And you could skip them if you decided not to watch it, but yeah, like oops, I didn't mean to watch it. There we go. But that's pretty much it. But yeah, I'll get to what I really kind of wanted to show. Whilst I did kind of want to show these three particularly, what I really wanted to show was the trial map one more time. I wanted to show the bonus characters a bit. And also kind of want to show a little bit of a stat comparison too. Let's go ahead and take a look at our in-game stats. I'm going to be only looking really at a few units. I'm going to be kind of taking note of Ike's stats. So here's Ike's stats. I'll try to commit these to memory. Better yet, I could also just take a picture. Then we got like Alencia's stats. I'm pretty sure Alencia is stronger than the last time I used her. There's like Mist. And I want to take note of Jill's stats as well. That's pretty much it. Maybe Soren too, why not? There's probably no one else I really want to take into account. Like maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I just want to get a quick stat comparison because I kind of do want to show like if whether like this is also more for me too. I want to see whether I did better in the last playthroughs than this one. So we'll start with this one. This one was one that you guys never got to see, but this was the file I used for my my last Let's Play that I never actually showed because the audio was all screwed up. But let's take a look. So yeah, I guess Ike has that Speedwing from killing Bryce, and I guess I had the same idea to give him the Laguz card. But let's take a look here, and already I can see that there's some major differences. For instance, I remember that our Ike was maxed out in defense, but this Ike has only 22 defense. Let's see. So actually, the one Ike that I was using in my last playthrough, or the playthrough that I actually showed here, is actually better than this Ike. Because this Ike is only maxed out in strength, skill, and speed, but mine was maxed out in strength, skill, speed, and defense. And apparently, I'm looking at the picture I took, I had more magic, more luck, and more resistance, so I just had higher stats all around. And let's go ahead and take a look at, like, let's see, oh, Alencia. We could take a look at Alencia. Where's she? I don't think I even used her that much in this one. Look at that! Level 1! Holy cow! So this was a major difference between that playthrough that I never did and this one, because yeah, I didn't even use Alencia, which is kind of nuts to me. We can take a look at Mist. I did try to use Mist a lot. Here, she's probably at the top. Oop, there she is. Let's go back here. Let's see her stats as they compare to the ones that I have. Okay, so yeah, the one that I have in my playthrough again is better. Boasting higher strength, higher magic, higher speed, less defense, and less skill, but more resistance by a long shot. The one in my playthrough had 23 resistance. And to make things even funnier, this Mist is a level 16, whereas the one that I have is a level 15. But something tells me I do kind of remember this Mist getting stat screwed a lot in level ups. Like, she would only level up like 2 or 3 skills at a time. And I didn't abuse, like, saving and restarting as much as I did in this playthrough. But let's see Jill. This one actually I'm kind of the most curious about. And wow, this Jill... Oh, what the heck? I called it Garm and Maltet in here too? Holy cow! I didn't think I would ever remember Garm. I remember Maltet, but Garm, I thought I forgot about that one. Huh. Well, I probably colored it differently, but yeah, this one's also weaker. Wow. I thought the previous one I did better. Although, I have one less... Wait, no, I have one less level in that one too. That's crazy. Wow. And she's not S rank, but neither is the one that we have. It's crazy. Who else did I take a picture of? Soren? I think this Soren's better. Yeah, this one's definitely better. He's maxed out in those 3 stats there. The one I have has higher speed, but this one is better in every other way. And he has Thunder! I forgot I gave him Thunder! But because I gave him a focus of trying to make him have a balanced set of Thunder, Fire, and Wind, I ended up not being able to level up his Thunder or Fire that much, actually. Never mind, I take it back. But it looks like I was able to get him to B rank in Staves. That's interesting. And he's A rank in Wind Magic. So at least he's able to use Tornado. Oh, that's funny, I gave him a Thunder Tone. Alright. So, yeah, this one's definitely better than the one that I had. So yeah, it's crazy. So far only one unit has been better than the ones that I did. So actually, maybe I should be glad that I didn't show it. Who were the other ones that I had? Oh yeah, Oscar and Kieran. Alright, let's take a look at them. Here's Oscar. Oh, I think this guy, he might be better actually. Let me check. Yeah, he is better because this one's maxed out on skill and speed. He's got the same luck, defense, and resistance, funnily enough, but less, or he's got more strength, less magic, but he's got more skill and speed. Granted, this one's level 16, and the one that I did last time in my playthrough, in the current one, was level 10. And also, I apparently named the lance Gradavis, which is a little weird because Gradavis is supposed to be a range 1-2 weapon, but yeah, that one's just a range 1. And I think Kieran, of course, I gave him arm mods. That one I'm not surprised about. Yeah, this one is weaker than. Yeah, he's definitely weaker. So, wow, okay. I'm actually kind of surprised that I never really got these guys as good as I thought they did. Maltad, Gradavis, Wishblade. Oh my god, Hot Declare. Strong Axe. What a great name. I'm actually just kind of looking through here just to see like any custom weapons that I may have made. I only really see. It looks like I did that quite a lot more actually this time, and I actually did use Astro Staff apparently. Huh. Lots of elixirs. Wow. All right. Well, let's go ahead and restart, and I'm gonna go ahead and just check my first playthrough through, and then I'll go ahead and show off like the bonus units. So let's try this one just to see how these look like. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this one might be worse. Hey, it looks like I kind of had the same plan of having Alincia out. Alright, so already right off the bat this Ike is worse, I can tell, because he's not maxed out in like anything. And again, I gave him the Lagoose Guard. Alincia, she's much worse. At least she's better than the second Alincia that I had, because this one's at least level 5, but definitely not as good as my level 10 Alincia, so yeah, or no, level 12 apparently. Deluxe Sword Plus. Interesting name. A sturdy sword with a good edge. I don't know why I would need to give her that. It only has 2 more might than Amity here, but oh well. Let's see, Mist. Oh yeah, this one's definitely not as good either, because there are no maxed out stats. So, interesting. She's got A in there and B in there. Wow, so she can't even use rune swords. Interesting. Oh, but you're good. You're very strong, Mr. Riz. Kieran is worse. Arm mods again. I guess I just really like doing that. Steel Lance. I forgot to name this. What the heck? Also, yeah, this Jill is also worse, because she only has maxed out strength. And this one's almost maxed out in level. This one, she only has, like, a few more experience points to go. She's, what, 37 experience points for leveling up? It's crazy. Oh well. At least she's got A rank in both axes and lances, so that's cool. Oscar... Oh wow, actually I think this Oscar might be stronger. Yes, he is. He's got 5 more levels, so I don't know how much more balanced that would be. But... yeah, this is the strongest one for sure, and I gave this one the Night Ward. And then, let's see, Soren... Oh, this one's not as strong as the last one, but definitely stronger than the one that I have in my current playthrough. And I gave him Thoron. That's funny, because Thoron actually is thunder magic, but I must have forgotten that when I named it Thoron. And wow, he's not even A rank in wind. That's terrible. That's probably why I gave him Thoron, because he can't use Tornado. Alright, well lastly, let's check Kieran. Oh yeah, he's way worse. Oh yeah, that's right, I already checked him. Wow! So, funnily enough, despite the fact that both of those have a faster completion time, it turns out that the one that I just did is actually the best one. Hmm. And for some reason, I thought this was the worst one. Holy cow. Well, let's go ahead and just quickly show how awesome some of the boss units are, because, you know, I think it'd be neat. We have to keep Ike, so yeah, we don't have a choice in that. But the rest, we can take them. So Oliver, Shaharm, Petrine, Bryce, and Ashnard. So we're gonna go ahead and use all of them. And I'm gonna go ahead and keep him like this. Oh, you know what? I forgot to check whether I had Gifka or like someone else. I'll do that later. Because, actually, you know what? No, I'll go ahead and do it now real quick. Sorry about all this restarting. This is not meant to be a very super nice, cohesive episode, I suppose. I just wanted to kind of just show a few things off. Alright. I bet you they were to barn for both of them, right? Should just scroll down. Oh no, this one was Gifka as well. Interesting. Alright. Well, I'm pretty sure one of them was to barn. Let's go to extras, trial map down. There we go. Alright. Choose units. And yeah, to barn. He's pretty strong. He has cancel. But it's funny because, like, I think I mentioned this before, but I'm pretty sure cancel and guard got their names mixed up. Because cancel protects you against the damage of an attack, and guard cancels an attack. So, yeah, that's kind of funny. But cancel, with cancel, I think it's better, because what it does is that it makes it so you just don't take damage at all. The enemy will still attack you, and it will drop their weapon durability, but it will not do damage. It will always do 0 damage. But yeah, I think the reason I would say it's better is because it lowers the durability of weapons. And if you're lucky enough, you could get cancel to, like, enough times to wear down a weapon to 0 durability. Whereas with guard, you'll never give them the chance to wear down their weapon. At the end of the day, it just protects you from damage from the enemy, so they're kind of the same in effect. Unless their like activation rate is different, but I'm not really sure whether it is or not. But yeah, it's a pretty good ability. I just think it's funny that they, for some reason, seemingly changed the names on them. But yeah, alright, now for real, we'll go ahead and we'll do the we'll just do this one. This Hillside Battle is a pretty easy one, and I'll do it with the bosses. And just to give it some extra challenge, I'll go ahead and turn on only the bosses. Actually, there will be one that I will I'll turn on Jill, and the reason for that is because Jill and Shaharim actually have what's called a bond support. So yeah, what bond support is that unlike a support, like a normal support from like a support conversation and things like that, bond support is not something that you could build up in rank. It's something that is like a hidden thing with all like units. Not all units I think have a bond support, but it's hidden. You can't normally see him. But characters that are particularly close to each other, like Ike and Mist, for instance, have a bond support. But what they get from the bond support, instead of like getting an increase in attack, defense, avoid, and accuracy, they get +10 crit chance and +10 crit avoid. Although some bond supports only do +5. But yeah, Ike and Mist, I believe, do +10. But yeah, I thought that was just kind of interesting. I think Shaharim and Jill do have a She does have a bond support. However, the only way you will ever notice that bond support is in this, how do you say, this, you know, trial map. Because this is the only way you can have Shahar and Jill together. But, yeah, let me see if it's, it'll tell her. Well, it doesn't seem to show. Supports. It doesn't say her bond support. But yeah, trust me that she has a bond support. I think there's also a bond support between Ashnard and Petrine. But I think it really only affects Petrine, not that Ashnard really needs it. Also, I like that Ashnard's so big, he's covering up Bryce. But yeah, anyway, I think that's just kind of interesting. But actually, you know what? To keep the honesty here, I'll go ahead and turn off Jill. I'll just use the bosses. Although, to be frank, Ashnard's the only viable one. But yeah, we can check here. We can see what their items have, and to make it even more fair, or I guess less fair, because these guys are kind of weak, except for Ashnard. I'm gonna go ahead and just equip them with the items that they already have. So nothing more, nothing less. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what freaking Oliver can do. Here's the quick answer. Not much, actually. As you can see, there he is. Big ol' fat Oliver. Missed an attack that would have done only 5 damage, and he takes an insane amount of damage. It's hard to think he was a boss. Oh my god, I forgot about this. So, yeah, freaking Bryce is going to be slowed down by a lot because he's an armor. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put Shaharim here. He's just got a tomahawk, which is actually a pretty good weapon. But as his only weapon, it is not the best to be having. Oh yeah, and then there's Ashnard. He's overpowered. He's way stronger than Ike. And yeah, he cannot take damage. His blessed armor still takes into effect. So even if a enemy were to get like a critical hit, because they do not have Ragnell, Dragon Breath, or Lagoo's King attack, then they cannot damage him. So yeah, look at these stats. Absolutely insane. Also, I forgot to look at this. The King of Dain, a bitter enemy. Interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave Ike down here. But look how fast these guys are gonna die. Like, for instance, of course, obviously, Oliver will die pretty easily. I'm surprised he dodged that, but he won't really survive much. Look at that. He got back a little bit of HP, but oh wow, surprisingly, he dodged twice. Lucky him. Oh, but now he's dead. Oh wait, no, I was going for Bryce. Bryce will survive a lot, but he's an armor knight, so he's just gonna get doubled a lot and not do a lot of damage. I'm actually quite surprised with Oliver's survivability right here. But yeah, he gets hit like once right now and he's dead. And yeah, they're all going for him because, well, he's the healer. And yeah, he's the most vulnerable. Alright. Petrine takes 10 damage. Petrine's decently strong, but because you can't level her up, she's actually pretty weak against these guys. But yeah, Ashnard doesn't care. If these guys could somehow be level 100, it wouldn't matter because he's invincible. Although maybe he just wouldn't do enough damage to kill him, but, you know, at least he would survive. Yeah, all these guys, like, they're quite literally one-shots. Now, even though he's fast enough to double most of these guys, in, like, a lot of cases, with the exception of maybe, like, the warriors and generals, because they have a lot of HP and generals have high defense, he can quite literally just one-shot these guys. It's quite amazing. Like, this guy, almost one-shot. So it's a little two-shot. Like, the archers for sure are a one-shot. Like, this guy is gonna get one shot. Dead. So yeah, this is actually pretty crazy. It's really nice that Gurgurant is a 1-2 range weapon with infinite durability. It makes it quite strong, and also it has the strongest base might out of any weapon. I believe it has 20 might. I'm gonna have to wait here a while before I can actually check anything. Maybe I should have sped up the emulator or something so that it would go faster, but alas, we cannot. Oh my gosh, was that a killer bow or something? Oh, well, at least he was able to counter. Yeah, well, I forgot about another thing with Oliver. Not only can he not deal with enemies that well and he takes a lot of damage, but he's the only one of these guys that does not come with an elixir, so he can't even heal. Well, I guess he can, because Nosferatu naturally heals him, but when he lands an attack anyway. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad. Yeah, like, he is the only one without an elixir, so he won't heal back that much damage. It's also kind of, like, interesting to think, like, why is he even in here? Because he's not even remotely viable. Like, I understand that the game wanted to reward you by letting you play as some of the enemy units, but Oliver is not a good unit. You know? Like, maybe if you were able to, you know, level him up, then maybe he could become a good unit. But because he can't level up in the trial maps, well, he's useless. I mean, he has A rank in stab, so he would be able to use like 4 to 5, but with only 9 magic, that's not a lot. He would only have a range of 4, which is utterly pitiful. Anyway, let's try to self-heal him. All these guys are gonna do some pretty pathetic damage, but at least they can heal. That's something, I suppose. Here, we'll have him kind of retreat a bit. You there, Flame Lance. So okay, Petrine is somewhat viable now because she has the Flame Lance, which attacks resistance. So she'll at least be able to do some damage to these guys. But, and of course, yeah, I mentioned Bryce will be strong because he's got the Wishblade. And he's got a lot of defense. But, the others, not so much. Also, let's see, he's got Guard and Daunt. S-rank lances nice. What do you got, S-rank? Yeah, S-rank lances, and axes. Alright, decent stats. And you got Daunt as well. You don't have anything. That sucks. You have Stun, which is cool, I guess. That's the occult skill that he gets. And then Ashnard, he's got Daunt and Renewal. A-rank axes, which means that if I did give him an axe, you'd be able to see a unique axe animation for him. But there's really no need. And also, yeah, Might 20, sword that only Ashnard, 90 hits too. It weighs 25, but with 35 strength, that's nothing to hit. So that's just cool. And yeah, 16, it's pretty strong. So yeah, I'm just gonna have Ike not do anything, but yeah, it's actually kind of neat just being able to use these overpowered characters. Well, by overpowered characters I mean Ashnard, because the others are not overpowered. Bryce is just about as good as a general should be at his level. Petrine is decent enough, but Shaharim and Oliver, they're just not viable. They take way too much damage. Like, if Oscar gets hit, well, now twice because he healed a bit, but, like, yeah, okay, now if he gets hit once, he's dead. And there we go, he's dead. But, yeah, and then, like, Shaharim, if he gets hit a few times, he's dead. At least he has a better chance because he's got stronger weapons and a little bit more defense. But yeah, what's crazy to think about is Oliver is a boss from before Ike even gets a promotion. Whereas, like, Shaharim, at least Ike is promoted by that point. My god, Ashnar is so huge compared to these normal shrimps. Holy cow. And the only thing is that I wish his attack animation wasn't so slow. Also, the way he moves his sword at the end of his attack animation looks like he's going in for a second strike, but then he just kind of puts the sword back to his side. But I'm not really sure, like, if that is what the animation would play out. Like, if he gets like a depth or a brave sword, like if that's the animation he would do, but who knows. Also, he gets to move 10 spaces, which is very nice. Okay, no damage. But you know one thing I'm actually genuinely curious about, and I really don't know why they didn't do this. Why isn't Black Knight available for the trial maps? Like, I think more so than Bryce or Petrine, people would probably want to play as the Black Knight, seeing as he's a major antagonist throughout the entire story. You know? Like, he's basically the major antagonist. Like, sure, Ashnard's the main bad guy of the whole story, but Black Knight is more of Ike's main bad guy, you know? Like, Ike just sees Ashnard as the enemy king, but Black Knight is his enemy, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's go ahead and deal with this Siege Tome. Alright. And yeah, just stay there. You can reach, right? Yeah. But yeah, it would be really cool to have been able to play as him for the trial maps, but alas, you cannot. Alright, let's see if we can maybe get this guy. I don't think there's going to be too much that Jafar himself can do. But yeah, if you want to cheese all of these, then yes, you could just use Ashnard for everything. Okay. I don't know if I actually want to beat this, do I? You know what? Actually, here, this will be the last attack. Yeah, I think I'm kind of done showing these guys. I mean, what else is there really to do? Um, but yeah, there you go. So that's pretty much all the bonus guys. They're cool, like because it's just novel to play as a boss, you know. Like wow, like these are the enemies, but hey, you get to like play as them. But like then you find out Oliver sucks. Charm is just kind of bad. He's not terrible like Oliver is, but he's not bad. He's not good. Then Bryce is somewhat meh. At least he could somewhat hold his own and defeat a few enemies, but he's just too slow and not mobile enough. Petrine, she kind of dies fast and doesn't do too much damage to like magical units, but like armor knights and a few physical units, she could do some decent damage to, but she won't one round them like Ike would have, or any of your own units like Jill or Kieran. But yeah, then there's Ashnard, who's just the most powerful thing ever. But yeah, that's pretty much all there really is to show. So, all right. Well, I guess then yeah, all right. I guess that about does it then. Um there's really nothing left to show. I just kind of wanted to show mostly just the extra units you can play as, and that's kind of about it. Some of the other stuff was just kind of icing on the cake, I suppose. But yeah, I think with that, I have truly shown everything that I would like to show in this game. So yeah, with that, thank you guys very much for watching. And yeah, it's been really fun playing this game for you guys. But yep, it's gonna be time to move on to the next game. I hope you guys will really enjoy that one because I'm really looking forward to playing it, and it's going to be quite a change of pace from what I normally do. This was already kind of a change of pace, but I'm going to be changing it up again. But the game that I'm going to play next is one of my personal favorites, so I think you guys will enjoy that. Um, and I'm going to go sort of back to the formula of 20-minute videos for that one instead of like 3 hours. Like that's crazy. But yeah. Um, I really appreciate anyone that watched this playthrough. I know this one's probably going to be the least viewed one because of all the hour-long videos that are sometimes even longer. But like maybe it would have been better to like live stream these or something. But oh well. Um, but yeah, yeah, it really means a lot if anyone watched these, you know. And well, yeah, I kind of hope you guys can watch more if you want, but you don't have to. And I'm not really sure what else to say here. I'm kind of just tired because it's actually 3:49 a.m. right now. I know, right? I'm very responsible. But yeah, it's kind of just weird when I finish one of these playthroughs like this. But I guess I kind of said everything I wanted to say in part 29, which was the end of the actual story. But yeah, all right. Well, that'll do it then. For real this time. Thank you guys for watching, and until later, uh, bye.